Do you like to be called OT Deezy or just Deezy?
You go with just Deezy's cool.
Okay, I like to ask. You never know. Artists take pride in their name, and I respect it.
No, for sure. Yeah, OT Deezy's the full name, but on the simple side, yeah, you could just keep it with Deezy.
Where'd your name come from?
So my name, the OT Deezy, kind of originated just from my first name being Dylan. It was kind of a name that I picked up in high school during like football and sports like that. So I kind of just transitioned into the music. A lot of my punch style was kind of when I would go into the studio and flow, I'd overly prepare my music before I went to the studio. So I'd always knock out songs in one take. So that's kind of where the OT comes from. So it's one take, easy.
I know you got a new song, Who Wants Smoke?
For
What's
sure.
going on?
We actually just dropped the music video for that, so we've been pushing real hard with that one. I just did 250,000 views on my Instagram reels. So it's been catching some wave for sure. We got it on some radio play in Cleveland. Hopefully, it's going to branch out in the Midwest with that. As far as what's coming up, I got an album that I'm currently working on. It's called Crash Out Music. Release dates to be announced right now, but I'm looking to do a 10 to 15 track album. So I got that in the works. And then, kind of just bouncing around the Midwest, doing some of these radio shows, more, DJ interviews and radio events, and some performances as I get ready to head up to the East Coast and do an East Coast press run.
I want to hear more about this new album, Crash Out Music.
Yeah.
Define Crash Out. Is it like, we just really hype off of it? Is you a crash out for real?
I'm definitely a crash out for real. Anybody that know me know that I'm a straight crash out. But, the album definitely more of a hype, aggressive album. That's kind of my style anyways. My style's got a real good mix of, how I like to compare it is like the King Von with the storytelling and kind of Eminem in a way too. That new style, like street storytelling music.
Tell me more about your musical background. When did you really decide you were going to lock in on music?
I decided to lock in, and when I started, that's probably two different stories. When I started making music originally, probably in like middle school, like 13, 14 years old was when I really like honed in on it. Music was kind of always, an outlet, a coping mechanism for everything I was going through. My dad was never in my life. I was bouncing around a lot, so I kind of really attached to it. And I was never really good with it, expressing myself unless it was through the music. So then I kind of started channeling all that through the music. When I really started to lock in, I'd say it was probably around 2018, 2017, 2018, I got picked up for a little while by an independent label in LA, fresh out of high school. So it was an interesting experience. And it kind of exposed me to everything I needed to see to, fully lock in. I was like, okay, I'm flying back and forth. I'm fresh out of high school, flying back and forth to LA. I'm doing Maxim's Hot 100 parties, Bootsy Bellows, Ray Shremmer's birthday party at the time. So I'm doing all this dope shit and seeing all these, different players in the industry, met DJ Khaled, Nick Cannon, people like that. And that's when I really was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do.
It was enough to motivate you some more.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely turned me up. Unfortunately, things didn't work out as planned, with that independent label at the time, but I definitely say it gave me a lot of insight that I needed to keep moving forward.
Hey, it happens, but you kept going. I know you eventually stumbled upon a collaboration with Johnny Blaze. How did that happen?
So how'd that happen? So some of the people within, Doughboys Camp, RBMG, I kind of was already familiar with and tapped into just from the streets and different little things like that. Johnny was locked up at the time, and I knew he was really close with Doe. And my main goal was to try to eventually get at Doe. So kind of off the strength, when Johnny came home, I just DM'd him. I said, yo, send me your Cash App. I just sent him $200. I was like, here, welcome home. From there, me and Johnny became damn near best friends for the longest time. We was locked in, we was studio every week, driving around, kicking it. And then from there is kind of where I progressed. And, eventually Doe was in the studio with us when we were recording. So he was hearing me. He started rocking with me. Then I also connected with, 55 Bags, Lil Cray, a couple other, known Cleveland artists, and kind of started to branch my roots from there.
Man, the power of a DM. Talk about shoot your shot, man.
No, for sure. I figured if I was going to shoot my shot in there, how many other artists are just coming? How much is a feature? How much is this? I wanted to make sure that it was more of a respectable thing. Like, I'm not just coming here to be on some business. Like, I'm trying to really fuck with you.
And it clearly worked,
Yeah, no, we've been tight and locked in ever since, for sure.
I love that. You know, I want to talk about your music some more. There was a song that I came across, and in one of the songs, you had said that people think you have it easy because you're white. Where did that come from? Like, did somebody say that to you, or is it just like how
Yeah,
people treat
so
you?
no, yeah, so it's from probably from shit when I as far back as I can remember from when I started making music. It was always uh earning that respect in the streets, especially with the style of music I was doing. Everybody just, oh, privileged white boy, you don't know about that life. You don't know what you're talking about, this, that, and the third. So it took me a lot of, hustling and grinding in the streets, making those connections, putting myself in risky situations to really um kind of earn that respect that I felt that I deserved, if that makes sense. But yeah, it was definitely, it's still something I hear to this day, but I kind of have gotten to the point where I just brush it off. I don't even pay attention to it no more.
But that's how you know that like you're really in it. You know, you're not like you like listen. I know what I'm about. Like you don't even pay
No,
attention to
for
that.
sure.
But
And, people would always come at me with it, and it's not like I know I'm not the biggest nor the baddest person out there, but I know I'm about what I'm about and I stand on it. So don't throw that disrespect and try to categorize me just because of, what you see from the outside without taking a deeper dive in.
I love that you put the respect at the forefront because, you know, that's been an issue with hip hop for a really long time. It's like, you know, a lot of artists will kind of come in, dibble, dabble, give what they want, and be like, oh, yeah, we ain't really about hip hop. And it's like, let's not forget, like, you know, hip hop has launched a lot of careers, you know.
No,
So
most definitely,
I
for
really
sure.
like that you put that respect at the forefront.
For sure, for sure.
As a newer artist, I won't say you're new because you've been doing this a minute, but a newer artist, what do you think has been one of the biggest challenges getting you to that next level?
It's exposure, just getting in front of enough people. You know what I mean? Without having, a major label with, the millions to just fund into content or, things of that nature. It's really hard kind of doing that all by myself. I just actually dropped another promotional reel the other day for Who Wants Smoke. And I kind of put in the caption, even a lot of my own content, my reels, you saw me walk in, I bring a tripod, I'm recording all my stuff. I'm on CapCut, cutting it up, dicing it up. So that's probably one of the real struggles is not having a full-fledged, label size team to tackle each department. I'm trying to kind of tackle everything on my own.
That's real, but you still making it happen.
For sure.
Let everybody know where they could tap in with your music, where they could find you.
Yeah, you could tap in with me. Instagram, all platforms. It's going to be at OT Deezy. Same with Spotify, Apple Music, OT space Deezy on all major platforms.